Tēnā koutou, kia ora, hui hui tātou. Ko te kupu a te kingi Māori tuatahi, pōtatau te whero. I mua i au ko tō koutou watua, ko enuku kai tangata. I muri i au ko tō koutou watua, ko iho o ngā mano. Ko ia te timatanga, ko ia te whakamutunga, Gloria ki tōne ngō tapu, haere mai tātou. Welcome to this morning's, the 24th of August, RMC, Nehenehenui RMC Karakia. Just mentioning to the others on this Karakia over the weekend, for the first time in 3 years, we were able to have the koronehana face-to-face. And I think it was really something special. People coming together, not having seen each other in person, only in a screen like this, which is very helpful, it's very good, but there's just nothing like being able to touch someone, to hug them, to just feel them in your space and you in their space. And this use of space reminds me that we have this word wā. And wā in Māori means both time and space. So ka tahi te wā was a remarkable time in a remarkable space over the weekend at Tūrangawawa. One of the comments that was made to me by a number of people actually from Tūhoe, Ngāti Kahungunu, Te Arawa, and from Te Waipounamu. That comment was they just marvel at how our people, we have a very impressive paipai. And by paipai, I don't just mean the males sitting on the seats, but the women and their karanga and the waiata. Now, all of that is most impressive to these other iwi, but what's more impressive is the number of people at the car park looking after them, in that every day, every morning, when you go into the space, you are required to have a test. And that testing at the car park, as people park their cars, but also for the tent outside the marae, on both at 5 acres and at Ngāmiro, that the number of people and the efficiency of those people, each going about their tasks at the front and at the back. And going into the dining hall, our friends were saying, man, the young people serving, and just looking at the back at the people doing the cooking, doing the cleaning. One of my colleagues came to the koronehana every day. First time he's ever done that. And he said he just marvelled at how Waikato Tainui and Maniapuru is part of that. We are part of that more than 150 years of experience in that space, doing the kind of thing that every year, year in, year out, committed not only at the koronehana, but also at all of the paukai, at the regatta, all of those occasions, and every tangi of note in the district. I have a real pride in our people, in how that works. And on the Thursday, we had an impressive contingent from Maniapuru take our kawemate through to the kawemate of Tainui. And then that afternoon, our young people, well, mostly young, who stood to entertain that afternoon at the Piruru in front of Mahinarang. It warms the heart. And so looking forward to next year, but also sending out a very, very warm thank you to all of those who gave their time, their effort, or I wouldn't say blood, sweat and tears, but just seeing that is so inviting. And I know that the unveilings at Moko on Saturday of those po along the that part of our territory through to the 150th celebration of Te Tokanga Nui Anoho coming up in December, we'll see again that collective togetherness that we as a people, when we're committed and when we're committed to being committed together, can do so well. Hoi no, kua ua whakamoimiti, kua ua whakawhetai ki te atua matua nui te rangi, nāna e nei mea katoa i hō mai, mana e nei mea katoa hei manaki. Tēnā koutou, kia ora hui hui tātou, ka huri kia koe tū moana.
Tēnā koe matua, korua ki a koe Cassidy. Koutou, ngoku whananga, ngoku toranga o te Nehenehenui o Waikato Tainui, o ngā iwi katoa te mutu, tēnā koutou. Just following on from Matua Tom there, I'm reminded of the whakatauki he raka te maui, he raka te katau, which talks about that my left hand is just as skilled as my right. And it makes reference to what Matua Tom was talking about, that we all have our part to play. There's work to be done, there's leadership that's needed in all different places, left and the right. And so if we look at the Koroneihana, how everyone chips in, everybody does what they need to, and others can look on. Visitors can see what can be produced when we work together. And I think of our Maniapoto iwi specifically, and the message that's going out as part of the roadshow with the Nehenehenui Trust, which is all inviting us to keep those bonds together, to work together for a common goal. And so for those who are coming to attend, I invite you to pop along. I think it might be in the Manawatu today, or perhaps that was last night, and soon we'll be heading over to Brisbane. So kia koutou mai noho ki tāwahi ki ahi te reiria. A koe nei kua tai te rōpū, te puari ki Gold Coast, aroha ki te Gold Coast, o reira, me me ka wātea e koutou, haere atu ki tēnei te rā he hui pai rawa atu. So for my karakia this morning, I talk about that within us all is the ability to realise our ambitions, to realise our potential. And I ask you to just reflect on that through this karakia and think about how all of our ancestors who have been before us, and the kaha and the mauri that exists within us all, that we need to break down the barriers that colonisation caused within us all and realise our potential. Nō reira ka karakia tātou. Karanga atu ki kura waka ki a koe e hene ahu one, hene hau one, e hine te tuatahi. Nau te kauwaka, nau te manawa, nau ko te tangata. Karanga atu ki te wā o tapu nui ki a koe e tāne te waiora, tāne te wānanga, tāne tukutuku i te rangi. Nau I wehe ngā mātua, nau ko te ao, nau ko te pō. Karanga ake ki ngā rangi tūhaha ki te toi o ngā rangi ki a koe e I o te iramaurangi. Nau te puna Māori, nau te puna ora, nau te puna o te hā. Whakarongo mai ki te korongo tēnei kauaka, whakarongo mai ki te koengo I pāpangi a te manawa. Pūheke mai te Māori tū, te Māori ori, te aho tapu I te aho tawhito, ki rungu I a ngā ki Maniapoto, ki rungu ngā iwi katoa te mutu. Kia manawa rahi te tangata, kia manawa piharu te iwi. Whakahoro I ngā tauārai, I whakatūngia e ngā kaitāmitanga o tērā ao pīroiroi. Ka e ngā wawata, ka whakatūtiki I tō mātou pitomata. kai a mātou te mana, kai a mātou te kaha, kai a mātou ko te atuatanga, nau e hine, nau e tāne, nau e i tukuna. Whakaputa i te whai au, ki te ao mārama, ti he mauri ora. Kauri.
My apologies. I seem to have been on mute. My lips were moving, but nobody was hearing what I was saying. Just a very big thank you to Moana for that karakia, reminding us that we have a mana, we have a kaha, we have abilities that we have not yet realised, whether we be young or old. But when we use those abilities to good effect, that last three words are so appropriate to Moana, Tihei Mauri Ora. Ka uri kia koe, Cassidy.
Tēnā koe te pāpā, whira kia koe hoki, tū Moana. Tēnā tātou i te iwi, morena. Just reflecting on the kōrero and the karakia shared, and in particular, in Anahi. So yesterday morning, I had the privilege of speaking with Maniapoto FM, with my wonderful tuakine Te Miri, and sharing my a little bit about my role here in sharing of communion in Karakia with the Nehenehenui RMC, and also encouraging people to join us for communion, but also to take up those opportunities for karakia and reclamation of our rituals, our tikanga, within the many spaces, such as Ahorangi Tom shared, these different spaces or times where we can be upholding our tikanga, ngā mahi, ngā tūpuna. Nō reira, also acknowledging the mahi that Te Nehenehenui Trust is engaging in, and also the journey that we are on as well in regard to moving forward, searching, creating, dreaming. And so I want to draw upon that and acknowledge as well the koro meihana, and in particular the rangatahi that are taking up their roles to support and be of service and to uplift and empower. So yeah, standing in that, if I can still call myself a rangatahi, standing in that rangatahitanga, I'll offer up this karakia that speaks to the search and the journey. Tēnei te rapunga, tēnei te kinihanga. Ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki tai, ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki uta. Ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki raro, ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki runga. Ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki roto, ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki waho. Ka kimi au ki whea, ka kimi au ki tua, ka kimi hoki au I whea. E kimi ai o te matangaro ko te pū, ko te kauru. Kei te hia, kei te koronga, o rongo mātāne. Tūramarama ānuku, tūramarama rangi, ko te rangi e tū iho nei, ko te papa e takutoa ki nei. Ko ngā tauira o ngā wānanga, whakamau. Whakamau ki te ingoa o io, i te pūkenga o io, i te wānanga o io, te pū o te aroha, o io, te matamaro. Tūturo a whiti whakamaua kia tīna. Tēnā haungi e hui e tā ki e. Ka
Thank you, Cassidy. That kimi, searching wherever we might, however we might, for the might of Io, the Supreme Being. Thank you for that search, for we understand that that search is endless, and in that search we search not just for that being, but for everything that bees, that is. And ko te pū, ko te kauru, is the karakia that our tohunga would use when people graduated from the wharewananga. And they'd come out of that wharewananga and they'd be greeted with that karakia, which suggested to them that the search for io is not over, but they have reached a level in that search where they will have an ability to assist others in that search and pave the way for others in that search through their learnings. Thank you for that reminder, because this is part of karakia. We share these karakia in that search for understanding, that search for enlightenment. And if we are good with our karakia, if we are good with our reflections, those who join with us, they also find something of an enlightenment. And hopefully in our karakia, they also find something of a settling of their hearts, settling of their spirits, because that is why we put this karakia together. In the threat of the pandemic, Otorohanga, Nehenehenui, was particularly badly affected by the pandemic, and messages that we have got over the while have meant that people do find something from our sharing of these karakia and sharing of these reflections. So thank you to you, gentlemen, and thank you to others who have joined us over this time. And we will, as we're seeing in the messages that are coming up on the chat, we'll continue with this because it seems to be helping, and it seems to be also for one involved in this. It seems to me a good way to start a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's a karakia for the middle of the week. And in listening to you and seeing those reflections that are sent on the chat, we're touching bases. As I said at the Koronehana in person was something special. But that doesn't mean that this kind of machinery can't also be something special. Thank you for joining us with this something special, to you too, but also to all of those of you who join us. And we know that we have some very regular, I won't say customers, I will say regular participants in this whakawhanaungatanga, in this manakitanga, in this aroha. Nō reira kia tau kia tātou katoa, te atawhai o tō tātou werika i Ukraiti, te aroha o te atua, te whakawhiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake, 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 amene. Kia ora katoa. Have a good week.